This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness. And a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start, because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.
The AI upscaling on the new Samsung Neo QLED and OLED TVs brings old content like from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond into the future. So no matter how far back your shows are from, they'll look groovy, baby. And colors and contrast pop in day or night with glare-free OLEDs. And the Neo QLED 8K processors are awesome sauce. They make every detail look sweet. It's time to bring your TV watching into the future. Welcome to a new era of Samsung AI TV. Discover more at Samsung.com. Upscale every moment. Upscaling utilizes AI-based algorithms. Viewing experience may vary according to types of content and format. State Farm and DJ Dramos from Life as a Gringo know making smarter financial moves today secures your financial freedom for a successful tomorrow.
Tackle these situations in stride and yeah, of course, be annoyed when an unplanned expense comes up, but not let it be something that slows me down, right? As I did with repairing my credit, hiring somebody to do credit repair for me. That was a gift that I gave myself that allowed me to then, get my first apartment.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. State Farm, proud sponsor of My Cultura Podcast Network.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival was a blast, and Hyundai's EV lineup was there for every moment. In Vegas, Hyundai took VIPs to the Speedway to test drive the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. On Friday, the EV Sessions winner was announced, Hyundai's music contest on TikTok. The twist? Their performances were all powered by the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5. How cool is that? And after the show, fans got to check out the Hyundai dance floor at House of Music. Thanks again to Hyundai's amazing EV lineup. Learn more at HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603.
1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic abuse in their lifetime. And nearly half of survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina started the Purple Leash Project to help eliminate one of the many barriers domestic abuse survivors face, a lack of pet-friendly domestic violence shelters. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters across the country, so abuse survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to get involved.
Hi everyone, it's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to dive into solar flares. We're going to look at the scientific side. What are solar flares? What do they mean? How are they affecting our environment? But also the spiritual and energetic effects of solar flares and some perspectives around how they may be impacting our consciousness and humanity and our actual biology and DNA. This is truly fascinating. It's been a hot topic for a while, but many of you will remember, I've referenced this a couple of times, but months ago when I was listening to an astrologer I love, Pam Gregory, she mentioned a gentleman who said, solar flares are like stem cells for the soul. And it was one of those moments where I was like, yes, that's what I'm feeling. And I couldn't remember who it was she quoted. And I've quoted him multiple times. And the other day, Elizabeth, my producer, and I were talking, and I was like, I've got to know who that is. And of course, Elizabeth looks it up and in 2 seconds says, is it Jason Estes? And I'm like, that's who it is. So we are reaching out to him, and hopefully he will join us as a guest on the podcast, because I have done a little bit of research, listened to a few of his talks, and he has really clever and creative, intuitive ways of looking at our consciousness, our evolution, the acceleration of energy on the planet. And I think he'll shed some beautiful light, but he is the one who said that. So I'm giving him the credit for sure for being the one that quoted that statement that really struck a chord within me. So since then, I've been really paying attention and curious around solar flares and the energy. And to jump back a little bit, I developed an interesting relationship with the sun years ago. I'm not a sun worshiper, but I really love the sun. And it's funny because I don't love the summertime. I love the fall. So I love a good cloudy day. I'm a cloudy day kind of gal and a rainy day gal. But as far as loving the sun, I have been consciously working with the energy of the sun as something that revitalizes my energy field, because it does. The sun is very powerful. We grow and evolve and create vitality through the sun. So does the earth. The entire earth is always receiving information, intelligence, and light codes from the sun that really sustain life on this planet. My husband and I went to Ecuador. This was before we were married, actually. I think it was in 2014. We took a trip to Ecuador. We had gone all over the country and we were on the Incan Trail. And everything that had come up in my past life regression, Dennis and I walked to the exact spot. And I had communicated everything to him before. And I remember standing on the edge of this hill, and there was this amphitheater, an old Incan amphitheater. And it is what I had seen in the past life memory. And I had shared that all of that like vividly with Dennis. And Dennis and I are just dating at the time, by the way. So just you can imagine he's like, okay, he loved me and accepted me for who I was. So none of this was surprising to him. But I will never forget, I was standing on the edge of this hill at this ancient Incan ruin. And I see this amphitheater, and it was exactly what I had seen in my past life. And I was standing there, and Dennis looked at me and looked back because he knew it was verbatim what I had described to him in this past life. But in that time, the Incans, like the Mayans and the Egyptians and many ancient cultures, they worshiped the sun god Inti. They called the sun god Inti. The Egyptians call it Ra. There's multiple names for it. But anyway, I remember we were standing there and the sunlight was hitting me, and I felt like I got this download, upgrade. I remember just having a moment with the sun and how grateful I was for the sun and its intelligence and it cleansing and clearing my energy field and stabilizing me and revitalizing me. So it was like a little awakening happened. And then what was really incredible is about 2 days later, we ended up meeting this jeweler, a silversmith, and he was a fourth generation Incan silversmith. And he had this gorgeous shop, and I saw this necklace, and it's Inti, it's the sun, and it's a medallion, and I have it. I wish I had it on today. I'll have to go get it. I wear it. I don't wear it all the time, but it was like, that's what I'm supposed to have. And he goes, oh, that's Inti, that's the sun god. And then he launched into this whole story about the sun and the Incans. And so it was like everything along that trip, the sun just kept coming back up. And so since then, I've had this different kind of reverence or connection or appreciation for the sun. And oftentimes with clients and for myself, I will say, when you walk outside and the sunlight hits your face, pause, inhale, exhale, ask the sun to clear your energy field, revitalize you, to strengthen your aura, utilize the sun, utilize the natural world. But the sun is a quick, easy way to clear your energy, to sync up, to get vitality. And it's just through a little bit of breath, a little bit of intention and acknowledgement. And it's very powerful. I do that a lot of times when I drive. I'll say, sun, thank you. Thank you for shining light on me, cleansing and clearing me, revitalizing me. Thank you for the intelligence that you're beaming down around me. So it's one of those things that I encourage you to do. As it relates to solar flares, these solar flares happen, and the sun goes through cycles. I've got a solar flares blog on my website, and it outlines some of what we will talk about today, but it's very comprehensive. I encourage you to check it out because it's got some good resources and good insights, but it's a great 101 scientifically and spiritually. It's linked in the show notes below. But the solar energy is changing, and we go through this 11-year cycle where essentially the sun shifts poles. hang with me for a minute. You think about the poles of the Earth, the moon's nodes, the planets are on an axis. Well, the sun has an axis as well. But every about 11 years, we go through a solar cycle. And at the end of the cycle, the beginning of the new cycle, it's like the sun's poles are shifting, like the sun is being flipped upside down. I don't know scientifically, but I don't think that's exactly what's happening. But there's a polar gravitational shift that occurs. We are in the middle of that right now. And it's like at the shift point, the apex, the climax of that. And if you think about that energetically, the way that it translates for me, it's like the sun is having a really Pluto phase. If Pluto is the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth, the sun's having a Pluto year in its astrology. It is going through a phase of alchemy, death and rebirth, transformation. So these solar flares that are being emitted are of very high frequency. And when solar flares are emitted from the sun, they are these bursts of energy, and it releases all kinds of magnetic energy that is stored in the sun's atmosphere. And when that happens, it's like they come out twisted and tangled and sideways. You know how when we think about our emotions and when we repress stuff, or we're having a difficult time emotionally processing things, and then we store it up and then we blow, or it comes out sideways because, something's got to give, or we've had enough, or we've been pushed to the brink. It's almost like that's what's happening with the sun and the immensity and intensity of these solar flares. It's like they're not just, flares that are coming out normally, because the sun is always emitting flares and energy and radiation and light codes. But during this polar shift, it's having like an alchemical transformation. It's having a spiritual awakening, a growth spurt of sorts. And so it's frustrated and aggravated and twisted and turning, and it's just bursting these solar flares, but they're coming out crooked or sideways. So when they're emitted into our atmosphere, they're not coming through like pure clear laser beams. They're like staticky and squiggly and awkward. And again, am I perfectly scientifically describing that? Heck no. If a scientist is out there and if anybody's listening, you're like, wow, Amanda, you really twisted that message up. But that is essentially the way I'm understanding it. And when these solar flares are happening, these really high frequency solar flares that are coming through twisted, there are tremendous amounts of electromagnetic radiation that are released into space and are absorbed through Earth's atmosphere. And Earth's atmosphere has been changing for a while. And whether it's due to global warming or the evolution of our planet or a multitude of things, our atmosphere has gotten thinner. So its radiation shield is thinner. So when you've got these crooked waves coming through with all of this electromagnetic radiation and energy, we're getting so much scrambled energy and at massive rates and frequencies. No wonder so many of us are so tired or exhausted, or our immune systems are shot, or we're overwhelmed. And yes, there are a multitude of other factors that are impacting us. But I think that solar flare energy is highly significant right now. We are currently in what's called solar cycle 25, and it started around the end of 2019, but it is expected to peak at 2025. So we are hitting that peak energy as we speak. And if you were listening to my podcast the other day, I shared that in early October, we had the biggest solar flare we've had since 2017. It was what's called an X9 solar flare. And if you think about it, it's like we're feeling those effects, and it's trickling down the energy, the radiation, the frequencies onto Earth's surface. We are absorbing that energy and we're working to process it. And there are more coming, and they're more coming more frequently. So with the solar flares and the classification, and this was really helpful for me, solar flares are classified into 5 categories.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month coming to a close, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. Software updates are used to patch up security issues and bugs that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to personal information. Regularly updating your software is just one more easy step to help protect your personal information. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, LifeLock can help give you real peace of mind. Only LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft issues that arise, guaranteed. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second and detects and alerts you to a wide range of threats, well beyond what you can see on your own. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, you're backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package with up to $3 million in coverage. Start protecting your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/iHeart. That's LifeLock.com/iHeart. Terms apply.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
Have you made the switch to Knix? Millions of women have made the switch to the revolutionary period underwear from Knix. That's Knix. Period panties from Knix are like no other, making them the #1 leak-proof underwear brand in North America. They're comfy, stylish, and absorbent, perfect for period protection from your lightest to your heaviest days. They look, feel, and machine wash just like regular underwear, but feature incognito protection that has you covered. You can shop sizes from extra small to 4XL. Choose from all kinds of colors, prints, and different styles, from bikinis to boy shorts, thongs to high-rise. You've got to try Knix. See why millions are ditching disposable, wasteful period products and have switched to Knix. Go to knix.com and get 15% off with promo code TRY15. That's Knix.com, promo code TRY15 for 15% off life-changing period underwear. That's knix.com.
Hey, this is Mario Lopez from On With Mario Daily Podcast, here to tell you about the legacy of excellence Toyota has been building for years, from developing hybrid technology to upping the standards of safety and efficiency. Toyota is always innovating, always making progress, and with a superior lineup of in-stock SUVs, including the adventure-ready RAV4 and capable, affordable Corolla Cross, you can experience the legacy of Toyota for yourself. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals, to find out more. Toyota, let's go places.
Need to shake up mealtime? Gorton Seafood has you covered with the most satisfying and convenient crunch this side of the freezer aisle. Bite into the golden crunch of their popcorn, butterfly, and southern-style shrimp. Or mix up any main course from tacos to salads with their irresistibly crispy beer-battered fillets and classic fish sticks. When it comes to easy prep, restaurant-quality flavor without the hefty price tag, nothing beats the fresh-tasting seafood Gorton's has brought to the table for 175 years. Visit Gortons.com to learn more.
Solar flares are classified into 5 categories based on their X-ray brightness, and that's how they measure them. The classification system is similar to earthquake magnitude scales. So you have A-class solar flares. Those are the weakest, and they're almost undetectable from Earth. So the impact is minimal to Earth. Then you have a B-class flare, which is a little bit stronger but still weak, and again, little to no impact on Earth. Then we've got C-class flares. And just to put this in perspective for you, and there's a great resource on here I'll send you to, so you can check what's going on in the solar flares on a daily basis, because there's multiple websites that have this. I have one in particular I go to. But on a daily basis, there's C-class flares often. The C-class flares are small flares with few noticeable consequences, but there can be minor disturbances in the Earth's atmosphere with just minimal interference with satellites or radio communication. So starting at C-class, the game changes a little bit, and we have those every day. Then we have M-class flares, and we've already had a handful of M-class flares in October. Those are medium strength flares, and they're capable of causing minor to moderate disruptions, which can create radio blackouts. It can mess with satellites, so creating satellite disturbances. And here's one that all of you are going to relate to. Auroras become visible in the sky. You know how we have the northern lights, and as of late, people have been seeing the northern lights in places that are not where the northern lights show up, the aurora borealis and everything in the sky. People are like, oh my gosh, I'm in Texas and there's an aurora. That is directly related to M-class solar flares or greater, because what happens in the energy's atmosphere is there's so much disruption. And again, scientifically, I can't explain this, but it's like the veil gets thin, but literally the veil does get thin around Earth. And then we can see all of this electromagnetic energy in these frequencies, which are stunning, but we can see the impact of the energy from these solar flares or geomagnetic storms, because that's the other thing that's happening is these geomagnetic storms. Now, the biggest class, the heaviest, the heavy hitter is the X-class flares. And these are the strongest type, but they can create significant disturbances to our communication system, GPS, our power grids, spacecraft, and that's what creates the geomagnetic storms, which can be very dangerous depending on the kind of flares and what is disrupted in the atmosphere. So the fact that we've just had, I think we've had 2 X-class flares in October to date. And the one on October 7th was an X9, which is it's a really strong flare. So again, it creates disturbances, and we are expecting more M-class and X-class flares to continue, especially through 2025. The last time we had an X9 flare was September of 2017. So things are shifting, and they're predicting more and more massive solar flares. So just so you know, this is happening. They're monitoring it. I go to spaceweatherlive.com. It's just an easy place to go. There's a handful of websites, so you find what works for you. But we've linked Space Weather Live in the show notes, so you can check it out. You can read up on them a little bit and find out what's going on. And you can check on a daily basis. Oh, wow, we have these solar flares going on. So you are up to speed and you feel like you are equipped, but not afraid, just knowing this is happening. Like I said, Jason Estes is the one that said solar flares are like stem cells from the soul. And the more that I reflect on it and meditate, all of our consciousness upgrades that are happening, that we are feeling, this shift that is happening on a consciousness level for humanity, it's like the sun is helping us along. And it's not cute, right? It's not fun. We are going through this acceleration process that feels very sandwiched in. It's like now and the next couple of years, the shifts are happening. We are changing, and everything is conspiring for this shift, this evolution to happen. And it's like we're on the ride, and, the lever has come down and they've already hit start, hit go. And this solar flare thing to me is like, yes, it makes sense. And I hope some of this resonates with you. But there have been all these suggestions that with these solar flares and the light frequencies and codes that are coming through, it's helping us with this cosmic awakening process, this upgrade process, because it's bringing in high frequency light codes and electromagnetic energies that are influencing our receptors, our bodies. Our bodies are almost being forced to evolve, forced to shift, and rapidly. You know how when you look at our evolution and how we adapt, and if you think about wisdom teeth, like I think about the evolution and wisdom teeth. Some people aren't even born with their wisdom teeth. And there was a reason for wisdom teeth thousands and thousands of years ago. And yet there's not as much a need for them now. I'm not an anthropologist, so I can't exactly tell you the meaning of wisdom teeth and why, but that's one of those examples. But it's taken thousands and thousands of years for the wisdom teeth to not be relevant and evolve out. And some people still have them and some do not. But if you think about what's happening now, it's like whatever might have happened over thousands and thousands of years from a biological, physiological, evolutionary standpoint, it's like it's happening in a few years, like in a really short period of time. And for me, thinking about that, I'm like, okay, it makes sense why I feel drained or I feel exhausted or I'm experiencing physical symptoms when I know I'm taking care of my body, mind, and spirit. That it's like, yes, we are changing, we are evolving, we are upgrading, we are adapting, and we're doing it at like warp speed. And at times we can't freaking keep up. It's exhausting if you actually try to quantify it and think about it. So I don't get exhausted by it. I actually am like, bring it on. Whatever is coming at me, it is encouraging me. And I hope it is encouraging you to really, trust the process, but also check back in with yourself and your sovereignty because you know you the best. Listening to your intuition, your internal guidance system. When you're tired, where can you make time for rest? When you are hungry, can you sit down and eat your meal without rushing through it? Are you nourishing your body? All the ways in which we practice self-care, it's almost like, gosh, these things are necessary for us to be able to respond to and integrate these massive frequencies and light codes that are coming through. This influx of solar energy, it's awakening dormant strands of DNA. And that's what is suggested. And to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with this. I feel like this is happening. I know it's happening. I'm seeing light codes and light grids come on in people and myself. And it's like the light bulbs turn on and my consciousness is shifting and going higher. And then my body is having a hard time keeping up. And where I feel it the most, apart from just some physical symptoms where it can be like fatigue, exhaustion, a big one that I'm feeling is dehydration. And I drink a ton of water. I actually like water. Like I'm one of those people that I like water. I like to drink water, but I drink a lot of water. And it's been really strange, probably the last 6 months. Like I will have eaten healthy food and know that my body is plenty hydrated. And I will wake up and literally feel extremely dry, dehydrated. Like I can feel it. My eyes will kind of be burny and dry. My mouth will be dry. I can just feel it like in my fingers, just the lack of fluid in my body. And for goodness sakes, I live in Texas. It's pretty humid here. So it's not like I live in a dry, arid climate. I've considered all these things. I also have been really mindful of ensuring that I add minerals to my body on a daily basis, electrolytes and certain minerals to ensure that my cells are actually absorbing the water that I drink. That can really affect us too. So making sure that you are either eating mineral-rich food or you're taking some supplementation where you're getting minerals. I take Shilajit. If you've never heard of Shilajit, it's absolutely disgusting. It's this ooze that comes out of these Himalayan rocks. And Dennis, my husband, introduced me to Shilajit 8 or 9 years ago, and we would both take it every morning. We'd put it in our water, and it like literally makes you want to gag. It's gnarly, but it's like this ooze that is so freaking mineral rich. And I think now you can buy like Shilajit capsules, which might be way more palatable, but I still do my Shilajit in my drink, and I drink it almost every morning. But even with all the minerals that I take and make sure that I'm getting in food or supplement with, I will wake up and be insanely dehydrated, and it doesn't make sense. So there are symptoms that I feel that I have that don't match what I'm doing in my lifestyle or in my personal practice. So notice where you know that you're adding in a mineral or a practice, but you still are feeling devoid. Take notes. The more aware you are of your physical body and how your body is actually feeling. So move all the thoughts out of your head, move the emotional stuff. This is such a rich time to pay attention to where your physical body feels like it is struggling.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
Have you made the switch to Knix? Millions of women have made the switch to the revolutionary period underwear from Knix. That's Knix. Period panties from Knix are like no other, making them the #1 leak-proof underwear brand in North America. They're comfy, stylish, and absorbent, perfect for period protection from your lightest to your heaviest days. They look, feel, and machine wash just like regular underwear, but feature incognito protection that has you covered. You can shop sizes from extra small to 4XL. Choose from all kinds of colors, prints, and different styles, from bikinis to boy shorts, thongs to high-rise. You've got to try Knix. See why millions are ditching disposable, wasteful period products and have switched to Knix. Go to knix.com and get 15% off with promo code TRY15. That's knix.com, promo code TRY15 for 15% off life-changing period underwear. That's knix.com.
Hey, this is Mario Lopez from On with Mario Daily Podcast, here to tell you about the legacy of excellence Toyota has been building for years, from developing hybrid technology to upping the standards of safety and efficiency. Toyota is always innovating, always making progress, and with a superior lineup of in-stock SUVs, including the adventure-ready RAV4 and capable, affordable Corolla Cross, you can experience the legacy of Toyota for yourself. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals, to find out more. Toyota, let's go places.
Need to shake up your routine? Gorton Seafood has you covered with the most satisfying crunch this side of the freezer aisle. Snack on the golden crunch of their popcorn, butterfly, and southern-style shrimp. Or turn to their beer-battered fillets and classic fish sticks for an easy protein add to your favorite weeknight dinner. When it comes to easy restaurant-quality flavor in your own home, nothing beats the fresh-tasting seafood Gorton's has brought to the table for 175 years. Visit Gortons.com to learn more.
Passport? Check. Charger? Check. 3 books you probably won't read? Check. A durable and colorful bag to stuff it all in? Meet Baboon to the Moon. Our colorful, technical bags are built for all the wild and weird places life takes you, whether it's a spontaneous trip or running from your boss's endless to-do list. With a limited lifetime warranty, your Baboon to the Moon bag is up for, well, everything you are. Find the perfect one for your next trip at baboontothemoon.com. Now get lost and make the world more colorful.
I've shared a little bit about this, but I have some stuff going on with my bladder, and I have had this for the past couple of years. And it's one of those things that has become my Achilles heel. After COVID, when COVID wrecked my immune system, as much as I take care of myself, I still feel like I haven't been able to get on track. And when I am run down or something is going on or my body feels like it is trying to upgrade, like from dense matter, that's when my physical body flares. And today it doesn't force me to, because today I've become more proactive. But in the beginning, it would force me to slow down. It would force me to rest. It would force me to relax. It would force me to take things off my plate. And I'm using the word force because the beauty of what that circumstance created, along with a handful of other things, was I have created a lot more balance in my life where I am not as quick to pile things on my plate or to push as hard. I'm starting to eliminate a lot of force. And when I do that, my body typically feels healthier. So just think about how your physical body is doing, what you're feeling, what you're needing, when you're feeling in optimal health, and then where your triggers or challenges are in your physical body. And one thing I love about the physical body is, it's always talking to us and it has signals for us, but so often you can pinpoint whatever area is afflicted and you can connect it to an energetic system in your body. And for me, that's where I get excited and I find an enrichment of my spiritual practice. So like I was sharing with you, my stuff has been in the bladder area. Well, guess what? That is all connected to root and sacral chakra stuff. So I can say, okay, I'm going to drill down. I know what the root chakra is about, being grounded, feeling safe. I am comfortable in my own skin. I am secure in my body. I am secure in myself. And then the sacral chakra, my emotional body, the way that I process and communicate and balance and alchemize emotions and passion and creativity. So something's out of whack energetically there, and my physical body is having a hard time, let's say, upgrading in that space. So I get to practice patience with myself. And again, removing some of the force seems to be really helpful. But a couple of things like fatigue has been a major symptom that a lot of people, including myself, have experienced. It's like it just comes out of the blue, even after a good night's sleep or not having a stressful week or a day. And you're just like, gosh, I'm depleted. Like, why? Why is this happening? Headaches and pressure in the head. That has been a major symptom for a lot of people. I have experienced some headaches on and off, and I'm like, it's not allergies. I can't really pinpoint this, and I'll just get these headaches. But if you think about headaches, headaches are connected with the third eye and the crown chakra. And obviously, anything that is going on for you physically, it is important for you to use your wits and your senses when you know that this is not normal or this is not okay. I need professional help. I need to go see a practitioner or a physician. So all of the things I'm sharing are potential symptoms that one of the main causes could be, or factors could be, solar flares. But it is important that you use your judgment and your sovereignty in case something is really wrong and you need to go to a doctor or you need to check out what's going on. But like with headaches, I'll just get headaches on and off. And I've never in the past really been prone to headaches. And over the last year or so, I will just get a headache. And there have been times where I kind of laugh and I'm like, oh, my brain frequencies must be being upgraded, and I mean, that's just where my brain goes. And that's how I think about it. But usually if I say, okay, then I'm going to get still and I'm going to use my breath and I'm going to meditate. And then I'm going to focus on my third eye and my crown chakra and bringing in light codes and organically stimulating the energy in a healthful way that my physical body can sustain. That is always my intention or prayer. Hey, body, I recognize that you are shifting, changing, growing, healing, evolving, upgrading. Thank you. This is amazing. But can you do it at a pace that I can humanly sustain? So I'm not just completely depleted or irritable or frustrated or afraid. Lots of emotions can come from physical symptoms and illness. So definitely remember that. Anyone out there, of course, who has really experienced any kind of chronic pain knows that it creates a tremendous amount of frustration, irritability, depression. There's a lot of stuff that comes out of that. Another big experience people are having is sleep disturbance, where it's either like you just want to sleep and sleep and sleep, or you cannot seem to get a solid night's sleep, where you're just waking up at 3 a.m. or different times in the night. And one of the things with that has been very helpful for me is if I wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and it is like I am wide awake, and then the inclination is to toss and turn and get, force myself, there's that word again, back to sleep. I've gotten to where I just get up, and sometimes I'm so awake and I'll make the coffee. And yeah, by the end of the evening, I might be running on empty, but it's like, if I'm awake, why not get up and journal? Spend some quiet time, do the laundry, like whatever I feel like. Sometimes instead of trying to go back to sleep, I'll say, all right, we'll just get up and turn the coffee on, Amanda, and go for it. And then usually I sleep better that night by listening to whatever my body is telling me versus me saying, but Amanda, you need 4 more hours, which, yeah, I might need 4 more hours, but I'm just going to do something counterintuitive. And it kind of breaks up some patterns, and I find that helpful. Vivid dreams, a lot of you out there have reached out to me, and especially with my Conscious Collective women, we've been doing a lot of dream work. And I have one amazing woman who has had a tremendous channeling coming through her dreams, and she's had precognition and all sorts of sleep paralysis and astral projection. But she is not alone in this experience. I'm hearing from so many people whose dreams are becoming more precognitive, more visceral, sometimes more frightening, or sleep paralysis is happening. So that may be another side effect. And also, it's just showing us that our extrasensory abilities, our intuition, and the way that we receive information is changing in the dream state and the sleep time. As you all know, that is so powerful. Mood swings and emotional releases. Hello, I can sign up for that one and feel it. I think most of us can relate to this. Remember how I was talking about how it's like the sun is having all these mood swings with these solar flares and stuff is coming out sideways? We are feeling that too. And I think as we evolve and this compounds and it tends to accelerate, we are beginning to notice the nuance of our emotions better, truer, faster, quicker. It doesn't mean it's any fun, but I had a conversation with a woman the other day, and she was discussing how she was on the phone with a couple of family members and old stuff was coming up for her. And she was working really hard not to judge this family member or project her stuff on there. But as she got off the call, she was like, I just felt so bad because I was frustrated with this one and frustrated with that one and wanted to jump in and wanted to do this. She said, but I knew it wasn't my space and I was just listening and holding space and it wasn't my place. But then when she got off the phone, she felt all this emotional guilt, gunk, whiplash, frustration. And I was like, you're not alone in that. The more self-aware we become, the more we slow down, the more cognizant and conscious we are. That is a byproduct because we're working through the nuances of these emotions and our interactions with people and family and coworkers. We are starting to really have, like, our senses are heightened and processing those things, being patient with ourselves, being able to say, okay, it's okay that I'm feeling this way. It is okay. I am processing, I'm growing, I'm shifting, I'm changing, but I don't have to sit here and just judge myself or berate myself, because that's the natural tendency for us to fuss even more with ourselves or feel guilt or shame or whatever may come up. So I was like, hey, I give you an A+ for just being aware that you felt that way after you got off the call, that you were sitting there in your awareness of your discomfort and even what you were projecting without saying a word. That's how powerful our thoughts are and our energy fields are. And I think the sun is helping turn these frequencies on, but it's like the sun is turning the volume up. So it is apparent and imperative that we find our stillness. Last but not least, a big one to me is heart palpitations and energy surges. And I know many of us out there can experience anxiety and are familiar with that, but there have been a multitude of times over the last 6 or 8 months where it's like I get anxiety out of the blue and I'm like, my heart is racing. The other night I was sitting somewhere and my blood pressure shot up. I wasn't stressed. I had had a pretty darn good day. I was sitting down with a group of people totally relaxed. I mean, nothing in my environment, nothing that I had eaten, I couldn't tie it back to any specific thing, but I was sitting and I just felt my blood pressure, my whole face was flushed. And I was sitting there and I was like, this is really weird. Like maybe I'm having a hot flash. Maybe this is hormones, but it was like, but things like that are happening. It's like this doesn't feel like it's mine. Like something is shifting in my heart chakra or in my energy field and in my body. Okay. And just being able to respond to that and take care of myself and be aware. So I hope all of you can really do a little research and development with your symptoms, your experiences, and see what correlations you make. But working with the sun and its energy, my best practice for that is always getting grounded and centering yourself, slowing down, breathing, meditating. But more than anything, talk to the sun, incorporate that into your practice, and see what you learn when you just smile and you thank the sun for all of the vitality and energy and life force that it transmits, but using the sun to cleanse and clear your energy to become centered and grounded. I have found that to be tremendously helpful. Another thing too, kind of in closing a little bit, that has been really helpful for me is I used to practice quite a bit of energy work. I'm a reconnective healing practitioner, and I don't do reconnective healing for people anymore or advertise that, but that's a long story for another day. But getting energy work done, if you've never had any Reiki or quantum healing or any kind of energy work done, put it out there in your energy field. I'm open to this, and maybe a practitioner or a modality will appear and I will be intuitively called, or the right practitioner will appear at the ideal time, and it will be easy, organic, convenient. I think energy work right now is a really great place for some integration and healing. So whatever modality you might be interested in, I think also things like gongs or sound bowls, sound healing has also been a wonderful modality for me. I know that anytime I've gone to sound bowl or gonging ceremonies, it just feels so good how sound waves and frequencies really know how to fine tune and retune my natural rhythms. That's been very helpful for me. Also, things like acupuncture or chiropractic, doing maybe yoga, anything where you can get energy moved in the body. And I suggest acupuncture or acupressure, depending on what you're interested in, but just getting the chi and the energy blockages kind of attuned and back on track in the body. That is very helpful. But probably the best thing, and I mean, when me saying the best, I mean, I really, really this is what I would say, the absolute best thing any of us can do, apart from listening to ourselves, becoming still enough and really listening to our inner guidance system, is to get out in nature, and not man-made nature, as best you can. And what I mean by that is getting out in a forest, getting out on some trails, or hiking to a waterfall. And depending on where you live and what's accessible to you, utilize your resources around you and don't stress about it if it's, a city park or whatever it is. If that's the case, that is good enough and okay too. But if you can get out into nature without your phone, without other distractions, and you can allow the forest, nature to bathe you and retune your receptors and your frequencies just a little bit of time regularly in nature is probably, to me, one of the greatest healing opportunities we have. Because if we're going through these upgrades and Earth itself is going through the upgrades, nature has a different way of adapting than us humans do. And it's such an easy way to attune our frequencies higher and more organically and collaboratively. So that's really my best practice. But definitely check out the blog because it kind of articulates a lot of these things more succinctly maybe than I did today. But it's a lot of good food for thought. And if you have questions, reach out, or you have good resources around solar flares or people who are doing research or insights, definitely send them my way. And hopefully we can get Jason Estes on the podcast to have a deep dive and discussion around human consciousness, our evolution, and all sorts of insights around our path forward into optimal well-being and higher states of consciousness. All right, everybody, be well. Thank you so much for listening to Soul Sessions. If you've got questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Email us, podcast@soulsessions.me. If you love this podcast and you want to hear more, make sure you're following it, liking and subscribing, and sharing it with other people. Send this energy out. Share it with other people. Remember, you can always get your dose of Soul Sessions. New episodes drop on Wednesdays. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok. It's @soulpathology, or check out soulpathology.com. I appreciate you and your light. Thanks for listening.
Need to shake up mealtime? Gorton Seafood has you covered with the most satisfying and convenient crunch this side of the freezer aisle. Bite into the golden crunch of their popcorn, butterfly, and southern-style shrimp. Or mix up any main course from tacos to salads with their irresistibly crispy beer-battered fillets and classic fish sticks. When it comes to easy prep, restaurant-quality flavor without the hefty price tag, nothing beats the fresh-tasting seafood Gorton's has brought to the table for 175 years. Visit Gortons.com to learn more.
Passport? Check. Charger? Check. 3 books you probably won't read? Check. A durable and colorful bag to stuff it all in? Meet Baboon to the Moon. Our colorful, technical bags are built for all the wild and weird places life takes you, whether it's a spontaneous trip or running from your boss's endless to-do list. With a limited lifetime warranty, your Baboon to the Moon bag is up for, well, everything you are. Find the perfect one for your next trip at baboontothemoon.com. Now get lost and make the world more colorful.
This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness. And a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start, because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.
Does money stress you out? Let Facet flip your financial chaos into clarity.
We feel way more confident and secure in our finances, and with that comes a sense of freedom.
Financial planning from Facet is here to help you improve your life today, tomorrow, and every day after that.
Facet was really the place where we saw all of the tools and the people coming together.
Visit Facet.com, FACET.com to learn more. This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth is an SEC registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice. These testimonials are from current Facet members who are not compensated. All opinions are their own and not a guarantee of a similar outcome.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month coming to a close, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. Software updates are used to patch up security issues and bugs that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to personal information. Regularly updating your software is just one more easy step to help protect your personal information. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, LifeLock can help give you real peace of mind. Only LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft issues that arise, guaranteed. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second and detects and alerts you to a wide range of threats, well beyond what you can see on your own. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, you're backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package with up to $3 million in coverage. Start protecting your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/iHeart. That's LifeLock.com/iHeart. Terms apply.